Welcome back to PWNcast. This is episode 20. We are in patch 5.4.8. I am your fill-in host, Belle. Eli is away on a covert mission at Blizzard trying to steal himself a beta key. Hopefully he doesn't get arrested because we ain't got bail money. Today we're going to be...
Will they take gold? Sorry.
Today we're going to be talking about tons of new stuff that's happened. We're going to be talking about the tank squish that was a huge forum post by one of the developers, the Valor removal that's effective in 6.0, the Harvest Festival changes for beta. We're going to talk a little bit about the developer Q&A that happened yesterday for those of you that weren't able to watch it. The Week 9 Wowhead Beta Key giveaway is still going on. Make sure you take care of that. BlizzCon tickets are on sale, and we're going to discuss a little bit about the second episode of Lords of War. I did manage to bring 2 of the writers with me, actually 3 writers with me because our guest is actually a writer, but I did bring the writers of Rohan with me. And we do also have a special guest, and that is Tissaris, who is my second in command for the Writers of Rohan. He's also a page admin for PWNcast, and he is our in-house lore and RP expert. So for the writers that I did bring with me, I did bring the troll that wastes bursts on a bubbled pally, Frysa.
Well, you're already bursting. You might as well just finish. I mean, there's
I've
no
seen
point
you do that. Yeah.
I used to give credit where credit is due. That was actually my husband that gave me that one.
It happens all the time, But it's more worse bursting on a monk with the karma thing on himself. That's pretty brutal. I hate that.
I did that the other day.
I know. We all do that.
When I did that.
I've seen him do it.
Because you kill yourself. It's horrible. All right. Well, no, it's great to be here. It's great to see you guys. It's awesome every week to come back here and talk about WoW and talk about lore. It's awesome to be back with my people. It's awesome. So
Moses,
I love you guys. I love all of you.
And we also have the Death Knight who cross-dresses with his legendary cloak, Spam Burger.
I'm totally busted here because I've been transmogging like crazy this week. I did like this insane clown look earlier in the week, and then last night I got a new pair of shoulders. So I went back to the crown of Lei Shen with the Tesla coil in between the tier and the crown.
How do you suppose I knew you were cross-dressing?
I have so much stuff in my void storage. I have like it's not full, but it's past the halfway point. I love void storage because back in my day, we had to actually keep it in our bags. And I had so much stuff in my bag.
We're really happy that you're here this week. We were nervous that you weren't going to be here, but we're glad that you're here. We also, our guest, which is Tissaris, he is the warrior that RPs in the dark alleys of Stormwind.
Ooh. Not all the time.
I've seen him do that, too.
I try to avoid most alleys because, there's really bad stuff going there sometimes.
Some trolls lurking.
It's happened. It's happened. So let's, we're happy to have you with us. Let's get right into the news. The tank squish. Huge. People that have not seen it in beta and people that didn't really read the post in its entirety have already started to panic. There's mass panic. I know that we talked a little bit about it in pre-show. I'm just going to say real quickly what I took from it. I took that, which is basically what we all kind of have the same agreement, is they're just evening the odds and making it where tanks can't solo world bosses. Tanks are not so overpowered that they can do things solo that most of us normal people cannot do. So, and they're squishing everything. They're also squishing the damage taken. What do you guys think about that?
I think Spamberger should enter this one. Go ahead.
Agreed.
There's a line in there, like 3 or 4 paragraphs down, where he talks about tanks being able to take damage better, but how much better? Is it 3 times better, 10 times better, 50 times better? Well, it should be. You're a tank. How much more damage than everyone else are you taking? 50 times more than everyone else? That sounds about right to me. I don't like this as a tank, but as someone who's been reading all this stuff as it's been creeping out in Twitter land, I'm not surprised. It's been coming a long time. The stat squish was going to lead to a tank squish. It was going to happen. I'm not in the beta, so I can't tell you how hard it's hitting us yet, but it doesnment look good.
It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. I think. I know. What are you gonna say?
Because I ran a dungeon in beta, I can tell you that we wiped a few times because the tank was so used to just being able to take on everything that he overpulled. Here's the different side of the coin, and this is what we talked about earlier. I have a guild member, his name is Dylan, he is our raid leader, and this guy can solo Celestials every week. I am annoyed that one person can solo something when I cannot. So to me, this makes it where there's going to be a little bit more of actual thought process when you're tanking a dungeon. It's no more just running through and burning it. You're going to actually have to have some strategy when you're holding your aggro and you're making sure you stay alive. I mean, am I wrong?
Here's what I want to say. So this is in BC and in vanilla. Back in those days, those tanks couldn't just solo anything. Right. You had to have a healer. You had to have a DPS, or you were nothing. You were just somebody who could take a little more damage than everybody else. What happens with that, though, is people are going to start realizing that being a tank on Protection Paladin, Protection Warrior, or Brewmaster or something like that, they're going to realize that it's not worth it, and they're going to rather be a Frost DK or a Arms Warrior and just tank as that, because they get to do damage and they could still survive. Because 5 times better as a tank, give me something more. Give me something, because people want to feel useful. Now, I'm not about tanks doing a lot of damage, but there is no balance with these World of Warcraft people. Like, they said, okay, we're going to squish the stats. They went from 2.5 million crits to 3K crits. There's no balance between that. They didn't just cut it in half. They just went completely to 0. And right now the tanks are at 100 times better in protection mode than an Arms Warrior in trying to tank a dungeon. And they didn't go back to make it like 20 times better or 10 times better. They're taking it all the way back to 2 times better and 3 times better. And I think that's too much of a squish, too much of a nerf that people, I think, in my opinion, are not going to go protection just for that reason and just stay in their arms and stay in their Windwalker, stay in their Unholy DK, stay in those specs so they can tank in that. That's my opinion. I could see that happening in the future.
There hasn't been a whole lot of complaints in the community from people that have actually experienced what's being made change-wise with the tanks. So I don't know if that means that they're testing it out and just seeing what the changes are. I know that people that don't know about it are panicking, and everybody's like, oh my God, what are they doing to tanks? I haven't seen a lot of the community, even in beta, as I've been playing in beta, I haven't seen a whole lot of people will say, well, this sucks for tanks. I haven't seen a lot of negative feedback from the people that are actually living it. So I'm not a tank, so I don't know.
This is not something that just happened all of a sudden. This is them blue tweeting stuff that's already existed in the beta. So no one all of a sudden woke up Tuesday morning and was squished further than they were. They just kind of are letting us know what has happened to your tanks at this point. I think what Frysa was saying is kind of where they're trying to go, where if you have an off spec that's a protection spec, you should be able to jump into it more easily than someone who tanks all the time now. And I think that their intention is to make it so that it's a little bit more of a strategy game, and we're putting skulls and X's over creatures' heads again.
I love those days.
And pulling things with 2 crowd controls and 2 mobs at a time instead of going in and pulling 4 groups at a time. You know, screw it. Let's pick up 16 guys and see what happens. What is it? Hashtag YOLO.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll all play itself out. I guess we're just going to have to kind of watch it.
What do you think about this, Tiss?
Well, I mean, I kind of think that they're trying to go back to like what it was back in the old days, like in vanilla. But the thing is that people that have been playing vanilla and since vanilla, they got used to what's going on now. So going all the way back and actually going drastically the way they're doing it, people are not going to want to tank as protection. They're going to go arms and they're going to go defensive stance. They're going to just put a shield on and say, "Oh, I'm a tank." And
I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of arms warriors with shields.
We love warriors because Tissaris is a warrior. We love warriors.
Oh yeah, I love warriors.
So let's keep it rolling and talk about the Valor removal that we already knew was happening because we talked about it last week, but it's official now and the changes are reflected in beta. And it'll be official as of 6.0 also, even before beta's released. You now can purchase your item upgrades, or in 6.0 you'll be able to purchase them with lesser charms of fortune, which I don't know about you guys, but I have about 20,000 sitting on my tune from my Timeless Isle runs.
Really?
I do.
What? Why have you not been cashing them in for Warforged?
Well, we use them, but the thing is, when we have a new guildie that's a fresh 90, me and my husband will run them. Same thing with Tissaris. We'll run them through Timeless Isle, and as we're helping, we just keep accumulating. So, also, I don't know if I told you, the Warforged seals, there's not going to be a cap on them anymore.
Oh,
I don't know if I mentioned this, and there's not going to be, in Warlords of Draenor, there will be no cap on the Warforged seals. This just came to me and I remembered. You will be able to buy an infinite amount because you use them for so many things. They're not going to cap that anymore and that's from direct community feedback about that.
So Warforged seals are the new Valor, basically?
Well,
no. I think they're still going to be used as coins.
They are still going to be used as coins, but they're not going to put a limit on that because you can use them for so many things now. And I'm assuming moving forward with other bosses, you might even be able to roll for additional world bosses like you can Ordos and Celestials.
Instead of only getting 3 a week, you can get it. If you farm for it, you earned it, you can use it. I understand.
And then let's see. The Harvest Festival, which is not new. They've always had the Harvest Festival, but they've already data mined, and it's already live in beta, the changes for the Harvest Festival.
There's a new statue.
Yep, there's
a Gara statue.
And there is a new quest. It's not a new quest, but the Honoring a Hero quest has 4 additional rewards. You have the Anxious Spirit Shard, the Forlorn Spirit Shard, the Peaceful Spirit Shard, and the Vengeful Spirit Shard. This it has the same, they all have the same rewards, but using one of these basically changes your, it's an hour-long buff that adds a glow to your character with a corresponding color. Red, purple, blue, and green. Your character glows. There will be a picture right here on the screen for you to see what the models look like with that.
Where were you last night? You're positively glowing today.
That was great.
Yes, that's good.
Great. It looks pretty legit. I mean, I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but it looks pretty cool.
So when someone goes and moonlights somewhere else for a couple hours and you don't know where they were and they come back and they're blue, you're like, I know where you were. I got it.
That's exciting when they revamp the old stuff because then we've been through the same. Even we talked about it for the what was the peeing on thing?
What?
The Midsummer Festival. You have to pee on a fire or something. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you know what? I would like, even if it's just something silly, I would like to see something new, even for these little seasonal things. Like over the years, I mean, Brewfest is a perfect example. They've added so many things to Brewfest over the years. When it first started, it was a little circle like outside of Ironforge with a bunch of drunk dwarves, and it's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten ridiculous since then. It's gotten pink LX running all over the place, and one of my tunes has a keg that he can just kind of whip out anywhere, and if you drink from it enough time, it makes you vomit on the other players. It's fantastic, and it's all Brewfest stuff. And they just, like, for whatever reason, I guess the Blizzard people are proud of their alcoholism, but they've just kind of added to Brewfest over the years. And Elida was making a great point that, Summer Festival came and went.
Nothing.
It was just exactly the same as it was the year before.
Agreed. Real quick, the BlizzCon tickets are on sale. So for those that you don't know, the virtual ticket is what's on sale, $39. I already purchased mine. Yay for me. You do get some in-game goodies. They won't announce those until BlizzCon begins. That'll be attached to your BattleNet. So if you're a husband and wife team and you both are going to share one, make sure that as the wife you put it on your account.
Sure the wife gets it.
So you can get the goodies for that because it is BattleNet account bound when you purchase your ticket. Husbands everywhere want to punch me in the face right now.
Yeah, I know one that does.
The week 9 beta key giveaway. I just need to shout out that for Wowhead, I won mine. I won mine last week after 8 weeks of trying. It does work. It is real. It does exist. I need everybody to keep trying. This week, what you have to do is complete one of the following achievements. You have to complete the Black Rock or the Black Fathom Deeps, the Razor Fen Downs, Razor Fen Kroll. I've never been able to say that. Please don't judge me. And Upper Blackrock Spire.
Level 20 dungeons, except for Upper
So
Blackrock Spire.
go to Wowhead, click on the link, do your thing, make sure that you enter in for the beta key. So for the people that did not see the Q&A yesterday for the developers, really most of it was stuff we already knew. The only thing that was different, which was maybe people knew that I wasn't aware of, is the one question I had is, are people going to be able to see your garrison? The answer is yes. If you're in a party, there'll be an option to right-click on the person that's in your party and invite them to view your garrison. They can then do whatever weird, creepy things you guys want to do in each other's garrisons. You guys can do. I don't know what.
I know the druids would be the worst.
What happens in your garrison stays in your garrison, but that was a huge issue. Now, I did tweet a question.
In Shadowmoon Valley?
I did tweet a question during the show that they did not answer, which of course they're not going to because of the nature of the question. What they talked about is that each garrison is going to be able to have all their profession buildings. You can have a jewel crafting building. You can have an enchanter building. You can craft your own items, your own jewels, your own flasks, your own things. My question is, what is this going to do to the profession economy? How is this going to affect the people that make a living off enchants, jewels? So, well, it was answered, but not on this Q&A. It was actually answered previously, which is why they didn't answer the question. You're only going to be able to craft certain things. Anything that's epic, anything that's above and beyond a certain stat, you're not going to be able to craft it. You are going to have to buy it from somebody that has that max profession and that knows that recipe. So have no fear. They're going to make sure that the jewel crafters, the enchanters, and all of you guys can still make your money. That's all really that was good for the Q&A. Everything else in the Q&A was nothing we didn't already know. We already, as Spam always says, that's old news. So...
old news. Yeah.
We want to talk about the Lords of War, the second episode. With that, I know that Tissaris didn't you have some interesting things to bring to light about that?
Well, I mean, since I am lore proficient, I knew that
you can say you're master.
Part of the story,
it's okay.
No,
we won't judge you.
I don't want to say it and then ruin and not.
Gotcha.
He gets shy in
you don't want to fall short of the master title. Gotcha.
So basically, yeah. I mean, I knew part of Garrosh's story. Grom's story, and I knew that his wife was killed by the ogres. But what I didn't know was what we saw, which was that Grom actually turned his back on his wife and didn't offer to end her life, which was very surprising because, I mean, I would have suspected he would have.
Especially if that's his mate. You would think he would want her. She said, let me die the honorable way because I deserve it. and to him it wasn't honorable.
He dishonored her by saying she has no teeth. She has no fangs. So at that point, he basically disowned her and said, the way that you want to die. I think he was mad that she let herself get to that position where she was injured and hurt.
Let's be real. She didn't have any teeth. No man wants a woman that's teethless. You know what I'm saying? Like, teeth are a big, important part of a woman's face. And when you're, just throwing that out there. Teeth are neat.
Oh. Yeah. And it was also the fact that after that, he mentions that those who he wanted to revenge on the ogres, and he tried to rally his clan to make an attack, and they decided not to because they thought that it was too great of a cost already given. And the fact that he went out on his own and faced off against the army of the ogres, he earned his title of the Iron Will.
Did anybody else find him hanging on that tree a little bit reminiscent of a certain religion where there was a man nailed to a cross and left there to starve for 7 days? Was I the only one that saw that as any kind of connection? He's literally nailed. He's not nailed. He's tied to the tree. But
it reminded me of a very similar X-Men story.
He's very skinny because he's been starved, and it was very reminiscent of a certain religion that did that once in the day. And
I don't know. I didn't get that at all. I think it was just
crucifixion is more popular than you might think.
Just put that out there, but. We're going to have Frysa is actually going to get into some lore stuff with Tissaris. Since we have him on the show, we want to take advantage and pick his brain of things that some of us might not know. And as Frysa made a good point earlier, maybe you're too embarrassed to ask a friend, hey, I have no shame. If I don't know something, I'll ask you. But some people, they don't want to ask for fear of being tarred and spooned because they didn't know things. So I'm going to hand it over to Frysa and let him dive into some good lore questions for Tissaris.
Oh yeah, I have no shame for that. I always want to learn something new. What's crazy though is I'm a mechanic, and you could be a mechanic for 20 years, and someone will walk up to you and be like, "Hey, there's that thing over there. It's called this weird name," and you've been like, "Never heard of it in 20 years. What are you talking about?" And they give you that face like, "What are you talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about. You've been doing this for 20 years, blah, 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 blah." And you're like, "Never heard of it." Well, it's the same way for WoW. I watch these videos, and I've been playing WoW since the beginning. I watch these videos, and I'm like, who are these people? I know their names, but I don't know where they were, what year they came in, what the storyline is. So when I was watching these videos, the first question I got is, which I've been arguing with the writers of Rohan about, and then finally Tis came in and he cleared it up with me. So I'm gonna have him clear it up with you guys. Is it really in a alternate reality? And the reason why I asked that,
absolutely.
And I know that he gave me an answer, but I'm going to tell you why I believe it wasn't. Because in the video, it showed that he was going to drink the blood, and to me, that was the same reality, just 35 years ago, and they're going back to change time. So I didn't realize, I didn't really think that was an alternate reality. I just thought that was in the past.
I think it's supposed to be like the same reality, but they went there and started.
Tissaris has the answer for that.
That's what
changing it, started creating events that create.
Tissaris, why don't you go ahead and explain so that because I don't think
to stop fighting about this. Yeah.
Well, to explain a little bit more, the reason why I'm pretty sure Frysa assumed that it was just traveling back in time was because it was a bronze drake who took Garrosh back in time. Now, what the people don't seem to know is that bronze drake can also travel through alternate universes. And why this is particularly an alternate universe was because a certain story that Blizzard actually wrote called Hellscream, which is a short story that explains just after Warcrime and just before, or slightly a few week or so after, before the cinematic comes out, Garrosh speaks with Grom, and without going into details, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you will probably want to read this particularly, Garrosh asks a particular question to Grom, which Grom replies and tells him the truth about his universe, and that's where we realize that this is an alternate universe. Now, to be more specific, Garrosh mentions about Grom's wife, how he should feel honored that his wife died while giving him an offspring. Grom corrects him and tells him that she never did. So that means Garrosh was never born in that universe.
It's like Terminator, where you had to go back in time with the girl to be born for the other guy. But then again, if he would have never went back in time, he never would have been born. But yet in the future, he sent his dad back in time to sleep with his mom to make him born. Right? Good.
This is back in the future stuff here.
Okay.
Well, that cleared it up for me.
Question.
When I heard that cleared it up for me. And then we had, who are the Iron Horde? I have never heard of these people.
The Iron Horde is essentially what Grom calls the unification of the Orc clans. Now, the Orc clans go as follow. There's the Shadowmoon clan, which is led by Nazul, which is the Orc body of what the Lich King was before. You got the Blackrock clan, which is led by Black Hand. You got the Shattered Hand clan, which is led by Kargath Bladefist. And if you've seen Lords of War Part 1, that is Kargath Bladefist. You got the Warsong clan, which is led by Gromash Hellscream. You got the Bleeding Hollow clan, which is led by Kilrog Deadeye. And the final one is the Thunderlord clan, which is not necessarily led or particularly joining the Iron Horde, but they're in a feud between the Frostwolf clan, which is the only clan so far that they've mentioned that is not part of the Iron Horde.
That's one thing we were asking. That was another question I got.
I love it. Fry's is beaming. He's like,
I know. Oh, I could go to lunch with this guy for hours.
Listen, I don't want to interrupt because you guys are on a really good flow, but I have to tell you, I promised I wouldn't give anything away. Never mind. We can talk about it in the fluff. It's not giving anything away. It's just anyway.
Okay, that was okay. And then that was the question: is where does the Wolf clan come into the Iron Hand? Are they even there? Are they against them? Do they fight against each other? How old is Grom compared to Gargrath? Where is the age difference? Where is the time started? Who's more wicked? Who's bigger? That's what I want to know.
Well, the thing is that the Frostwolf clan do make an appearance in Draenor, in Warlords of Draenor. They are, in fact, the Horde affiliation to the Draenei's for the Alliance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the Horde will be joining the Frostwolf clan. From what I've actually seen from the beta, the Horde will join the Frostwolf clan. You will meet Duratan, and it'll lead to the extravagant story of the Frostwolf clan trying to stop the Iron Horde. Now, whether or not the age difference between Kargath and all the others, I can't know per se. I'm pretty sure the oldest might actually be Gul'dan. I think he's the oldest.
He is old as hell. Like, seriously, that dude is old.
He looks pretty bad for his age.
He didn't age well at all.
But I think the orc that strikes fear in all the clans is Gromash Hellscream. He is the legendary Iron Will orc that nobody dares to go up against because of what he has done.
Okay, that's big. That was getting me. And then the guy who got his hand chopped off, that was a question I got because I thought that was Grom. And I thought, wait, Grom doesn't have his hand chopped off. And I go, well, who the heck is that guy?
Kargath.
And then you cleared that up with me. Yeah.
That is Kargath Bladefist, which, as you see in the video, he chops his own hand off. And actually, Kargath Bladefist is, in fact, in-game. He was the leader of the Shattered Halls, the end boss. And he actually has both his hands cut off at that point, and he actually makes his corpse.
I didn't see the other hand, but this is what I wanted to tell you that I didn't want to ruin, but you already said it. He is in-game. I did have the pleasure of being attacked by all of his handless frickin' brawlers, whatever the Shattered Hand brawlers is what the creatures were actually called. He sends them standing on top of something, screaming and calling me all kinds of names, and sends his brawlers after me to kill me, and I did survive. But yes, we did, and it's awesome. So awesome.
That is awesome. That is great. So as an Alliance guy, as you are an Alliance guy, Tiss, are you happy? Are we going to be able to kill Grom and Garrosh, or what is your opinion about the end game? Do you think Grom is going to kill his own son, or I know you read the books and everything, but those Blizzard guys can kind of do what they want. But my question.
From what they've said, Grom will be I don't know if he's going to be the end boss, but I do know he's going to be the first tier raid boss.
No, it does say
because
in beta notes he's the final boss. Grom is the final boss.
Because that is not cool. As a Horde guy, Grom, I know as Alliance it's very hard for you guys to see this. That is like saying we Horde are going to kill Varian because he is now a bad guy. You guys would be like, what? I would be like,
yeah. The thing is that this is an alternate universe. The Grom you knew is not the same Grom as we see now.
That's
this Grom, basically, he is out to pretty much conquer Azeroth.
So he is not the Grom that we know.
No,
Sounds like the same Grom that I do.
Well, I guess he goes the same way because there was that time, he always wants to fight Varian every single time he saw him. He wanted to throw fists up and
similar
blade.
to you and I. Every time I see you, I want to fight you. I mean, I can see it.
That's awesome.
So
do we
have time? Are we ready for the gauntlet, or do you have more?
Hold on, I got one more question. And then I went and looked up DD Guides. You guys watch that? DD Guides, Danger Dolan. He has this thing on the top 10 heroes of all time, and one of the heroes in there was Broxigar. And we wanted to talk about that because they are going back in time now, 35 years ago or whatever, and into a different alternate reality. Where is Broxigar in this?
Actually, I don't even...
He's never been mentioned, ever?
Frysa's very upset that he's not anything important because he stabbed somebody and almost killed him. He didn't kill him, but he almost killed him.
He almost killed Sygaris.
Didn't we have this conversation?
Yeah, he's the only mortal. I thought we talked to Tiss about this guy prior to the whole
we didn't.
podcast because that was the big argument we had about Broxigar, how he was the greatest orc of all time, and he is never mentioned, and he was the only one to almost kill a Titan, and he is not nowhere in. He's all in the lore, but he is nowhere in World of Warcraft. And since we're going back, because he was the first orc to ever enter Azeroth, he fought against Storm. What's his name?
Illidan?
Rage. No. Well, yeah, him too.
Yeah.
Storm Rage. He fought against him in the battle in Azeroth.
Illidan and Storm Rage is one and the same, right? It's Illidan Storm Rage, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just Storm Rage.
Yeah, it's Illidan and Storm Rage.
So, yeah, he fought against him, and yet we hear Storm Rage, but never hear Broxigar. And I like to know why, but I don't know. I was very disappointed in that because he's like the craziest orc, and as a Horde fan, our best hero is not mentioned, and it pisses me off. I know this is the second episode I've mentioned him. I know.
Unfortunately, I don't really know that orc particularly.
See, if he doesn't even know
it's
the
actually
orc,
the first time I heard it.
Ray, if he doesn't, or Frysa, if he doesn't know the orc, then something's kind of weird about what you're trying to make him think. I don't believe it.
No, I looked this orc up. He's in lore. He's in all the books. He's in there.
But he's being brutally rebuffed by Blizzard.
Hey, Phil.
I got answers for you. What's up?
Your kid. He was back.
Is he sneaking?
That's what we call kid aggro, ladies and gentlemen. So we're cutting a little on time.
Yeah. What's the okay? I got the questions here.
At least for the news part, we can go more in depth for the PWNcast hour.
Is that it?
Yeah. That's pretty much all we got for the news. The rest of the stuff, we are going to dive a little bit deeper into some of the ways that how we feel about certain things. That is posted at the end of this episode. You can click to view the PWNcast After Hours, which is just all the fun stuff that we add to it. And
yes, watch it. It's
did
awesome.
We have money bags? Where's money bags?
Fluffy stuff.
Did money bags?
I thought it was fluffy.
I think we can throw money bags in there before we run Tissaris through the gauntlet. Because of
I got nothing for
because of For the Horde Friday, I know you have a money bags. The Goblin grinds my gears.
You know what grinds my gears? 5 hours in trade chat for one boss, And then you go in and you raid one boss, and here's what happened last night. All right, it's not really a grinding gears section, just a vent. I get to vent once in a while too.
Real fast though.
We went in. It was a 10-man group, and one of the guys was like a little overpowered and asked to bring his underpowered friend with him. So the guy's like a little overpowered. He was like a 587. So I was impressed, right? So we dropped the first boss, and he's like insisting that we must give this some sword to his friend. And I was like, but your friend rolled a 13, and this guy rolled a 48, so I'm gonna give it to the guy with the 48.
Yep.
And next thing you know, poof, they both left. And the guy with the 48 told me after they just left that he gave him the sword anyway right before they left. So if you're going to join our raid group, don't leave when you don't get a piece of loot. I mean, really, seriously, I'm reminded of a kid at the basketball court who's like, well, if I don't get to win, I'm going home with my basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Be about the game. Be about the game.
Yeah. I agree.
Let's get these. Are you ready to run him through the gauntlet? I'm going to.
Now these are unorthodox questions that we usually ask here. We found a quick page that has some questions. These are a little different font.
But they're great questions.
They are very hard. Very hard. I won't judge you.
Make sure you can read as many off in 30 seconds. He has 30 seconds. Once 30 seconds hits, I'm going to stop you guys from your questions.
Wait, are we going to do? Oh, are we going to do 30 seconds? Because these are hard questions.
That's what the gauntlet is, 30 seconds.
But these are hard questions.
It's going to be fine. Cue the gauntlet music that I'm going to add in later. And ready, go.
My family was corrupted. I made sure the rest of my kind was destroyed. Now I am the last of my kind. Who am I? My family was corrupted. I made sure that the rest of my kind was destroyed. Okay. Villain was my brother. Then I betrayed him to the demons. Who am I?
Oh, God, pass.
Anaxia and Balvar once guarded me. My father is a man of great power, and I wield the power of the light. Who am I?
Oh, God, pass.
Okay, this one's good. I was betrayed to my brother, by my people, by my love. I was the first to hunt the demons. Who am I?
Pass.
Is that it?
Listen, I just am excited, and let me tell you why I'm excited. Because, one, I thought he was going to get more questions. I thought he was going to get a question right. But two, because we actually found questions that would stump Tissaris. When he doesn't know something, you know that they are great freaking questions. Now, Frysa, you should read the answers, and then we need to wrap it up because we're way over time.
Okay, the first one, my family was corrupted. I made sure the rest of my kind was destroyed. Now I am the last of my kind. That's Raphael.
It's got to be Raphael.
Yeah. Velen was my brother. Then I betrayed him to the demons. Who am I? And that's killed Jaden.
That's KJ, yeah.
Anaxia and Balvar once guarded me. My father is a man of great power, and I wield the power of the light. Who am I?
That's the white pawn, Anduin.
And then I was betrayed by my brother, by my people, by my love. I was the first to hunt demons. Who am I? And that's Illidan.
The first
All right.
We stumped you. Let this show the record in history.
No, hold on. I'm going to defend him a little bit. He would have got these if we gave him more time. But yeah, that's the point of the gauntlet.
Those were great.
It's because you were giving him riddles instead of just straight up questions.
It was a little unorthodox, but there's still no excuse, Tiss. No excuse.
That was kind of dirty pool.
No excuse.
Well, if nobody else has anything, we're going to wrap up the news portion of the show. We are going to continue with the PWNcast After Hours, which you guys should check it out because we're pretty awesome. Go ahead and click right here, and it'll take you over to the next video.
That's all the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. We do want to thank you for joining us here at PWNcast. Now, we want to make sure that you have the best WoW experience possible. So our advice for this week, you have to make sure that you follow our advice. Leave your pet's growl on in an instance, all you hunters. Make sure you always leave the growl on. Wipe when the boss is less than 1%. And always, this is very crucial to you having the greatest WoW experience, always go AFK during a raid to cook dinner. That's it.
I love it.
Bye. We'll see you guys PWNcast After Hours.
That's terrible advice.
Bye.